It began with a tremor. Not an earthquake, not an explosion, but something far deeper. Seismic stations across the Pacific reported an anomaly, something massive stirring beneath the Mariana Trench. At first, scientists dismissed it as tectonic movement, but then, the tremors began forming patterns, like a heartbeat. Then, on the morning of July 7, the world witnessed the impossible. Off the coast of Japan, the ocean split open as something colossal rose from the depths. A humanoid figure, towering over 1,500 feet, emerged from the sea. Its body was covered in a dark, rock-like exoskeleton, pulsating with veins of blue energy. Its head, featureless except for two glowing eyes, turned toward the mainland. The giant took a single step, and a tsunami followed. Panic spread worldwide. Satellite feeds captured every terrifying detail as the behemoth marched inland. Fighter jets scrambled from Japan's self-defense force, unleashing missiles that exploded harmlessly against its hide. The creature didn't even flinch. Tokyo ordered an immediate evacuation, but it was too late. The giant waded through coastal cities, leaving devastation in its wake. Buildings crumbled like sandcastles beneath its feet. The United Nations held an emergency session. Could it be intelligent? Could it be reasoned with? Every attempt at communication failed. Humanity had no choice. This was not a visitor. This was an invasion. The war against the giant had begun. Within hours, military forces from around the world converged. American aircraft carriers, European strike teams, and even Russian experimental weaponry joined the fight. The battle unfolded in Osaka Bay, a last stand before the creature reached Kyoto. Tanks and artillery fired relentlessly, their shells detonating like fireworks against its armored skin. Nuclear warheads were considered, but rejected. The risk to the planet was too high. Then, the creature retaliated. With a single sweep of its massive arm, it released a shockwave that vaporized an entire fleet. Soldiers on the ground watched in horror as energy pulses erupted from the beast's body, reducing skyscrapers to molten slag. Humanity was losing. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Elise Carter, a leading xenobiologist, examined satellite data. The creature wasn't just attacking randomly, it was heading toward a specific point in central Japan. What if it's not invading? She proposed in a desperate video conference with world leaders. What if it's looking for something? Her theory was simple but chilling. The giant had been dormant for millennia beneath the ocean. Something had woken it up. If they could determine what, they might stop it. But the world had no time for theories. Governments demanded action. And so, they prepared the Omega Strike, a coordinated attack using all remaining forces. The world held its breath as the Omega Strike was unleashed. Hypersonic missiles, railgun artillery, and space-based kinetic weapons all converged on the giant. For the first time, it staggered. A direct hit to its core sent it crashing to the ground. A victory cry erupted across the world. But then, something went horribly wrong. The giant's fallen body pulsed violently, and cracks spread across its exoskeleton. Its blue veins turned red, and a new, horrifying sound filled the air. It was healing. And it was changing. The Omega Strike had not defeated it, it had triggered an evolution. The creature's body began reshaping, its form growing even larger, its armor thickening. It roared, a sound so powerful it shattered glass for miles. Cities in its path were now doomed. Humanity's strongest weapons had failed, and the giant was only getting stronger. Dr. Carter worked frantically. She analyzed the data again, searching for any weakness. Then she found it, something buried deep in the Earth's crust. A second energy signature, mirroring the creature's own. A twin. The giant wasn't just searching for something. It was searching for another one of its kind. The discovery led to a classified location beneath Mount Fuji, a hidden research facility dating back to World War II. Inside, ancient writings and machinery suggested that the giants were not from Earth. They were guardians, or executioners, left behind by an unknown force. The second entity was still sealed beneath the mountain, locked away long ago. But if the first giant reached it, the consequences could be catastrophic. Dr. Carter and a specialized military team were sent to the facility. Their mission: prevent the awakening of the second giant at all costs. Time was running out. The first giant had reached the outskirts of Mount Fuji. If it broke through, the second would awaken. And two of them would mean the end of humanity. With no other option, world leaders authorized a final, desperate act. A prototype energy weapon, codenamed Helio Spear, had been developed in secret. It was untested, unstable, but the only hope left. Dr. Carter and her team raced against time, setting up the weapon as the giant climbed the mountain. It sensed its counterpart buried below and let out a triumphant roar. But before it could strike, the Helio Spear fired. A beam of concentrated energy, hotter than the sun, struck the giant's core. For the first time, it screamed in agony. The Helio Spear was working, but the strain was too much. The weapon was overheating, moments from exploding. Dr. Carter made a choice. She manually rerouted the system, forcing the beam to increase in power. The overload would annihilate everything, including herself. The giant, weakened beyond repair, let out a final, deafening cry before disintegrating into ash. The energy surge collapsed the facility, sealing the second giant permanently beneath the earth. As the dust settled, humanity realized what had happened. Dr. Elise Carter had saved the world. The world mourned its losses. Cities lay in ruins, millions were dead, and the scars of battle would last for generations. Yet, hope remained. Dr. Carter's research was recovered from the ruins. It contained knowledge about the giants, their origins, and the terrifying truth: there were more of them, scattered across the cosmos. For now, Earth was safe. But somewhere, in the darkness of space, the true architects of the giants watched. And they were waiting. The war was only beginning. The world was on edge. The anomalies detected in deep space were closing in fast, too fast to be natural. NASA, the European Space Agency, and classified military installations confirmed the worst: the approaching objects were spacecraft, unlike anything seen before. World leaders met in secret, debating their next move. Some pushed for diplomacy, hoping these unknown entities could be reasoned with. Others believed this was an invasion, one Earth had no chance of surviving. In Tokyo, remnants of Dr. Carter's research were decrypted. Among them was a chilling phrase, scrawled in an ancient language found beneath Mount Fuji. When the first falls, the masters return. Humanity had killed the giant. And now, its creators were coming to see why. Then, on a cold December night, the sky changed. The first ship entered Earth's orbit, massive, dark, and utterly alien. Unlike human vessels, it bore no visible engines or thrusters. It simply hovered, an ominous monolith against the stars. Military forces across the planet prepared for war, but the ship did nothing. It emitted no signals, made no demands. It simply watched. Then, days later, more ships arrived. 10. 50. 100. Each identical to the first. They positioned themselves above major cities: New York, London, Beijing, Johannesburg, Sydney, silent sentinels in the sky. The world held its breath. Then, at exactly midnight GMT, every screen, every radio, and every electronic device across the planet crackled to life. A single, unified voice spoke. "We see you." Panic erupted. People fled cities, riots broke out, and doomsday cults declared the end of humanity. But the ships did not attack. They simply waited. Scientists worked tirelessly to decode the signal. Unlike the giant, these beings could communicate. But what did they want? Then, a second message came. You were warned. You have defied the balance. Judgment is coming. World leaders attempted contact, sending messages in every known language. The response was chilling. The ships did not reply. They moved. With impossible speed, one of the ships descended over the ruins of Osaka, where the giant had fallen. A beam of light struck the ground, scanning the earth. Moments later, the ship vanished, as if it had never been there. All across the world, the same thing happened. The ships scanned. They observed. They disappeared. Until only one remained. Then, it spoke again. Prepare. And it was gone. The world was left in chaos. What did prepare mean? Had Earth been sentenced to destruction? The best minds on the planet worked around the clock, analyzing every detail. Then, in the ruins of Mount Fuji, a new discovery was made, another buried structure, hidden deep beneath the rock. It was not of human origin. A team of scientists and military specialists was sent inside. What they found changed everything. Massive, ancient carvings told the story of the giants, how they were not invaders, but tools. Created by an unknown species to maintain cosmic order. And worse, humanity had not destroyed the first one. It had merely delayed its return. Something deep beneath the earth was still active. Beating. Waiting. Seismic activity spiked worldwide. Tectonic shifts, unexplained tremors, something was moving beneath the earth. Then, the nightmares began. Across the globe, thousands of people reported the same vision, an endless void, a towering shadow, and a voice echoing in their minds. I awaken. At first, the visions were dismissed as hysteria. But then, astronauts aboard the International Space Station saw something horrifying. Earth's magnetic field was changing. Something deep beneath the planet's surface was disrupting it. Then, the final warning came. From the farthest reaches of space, an unknown signal, older than any human civilization, was detected. It was not from the ships that had visited. It was from something far more ancient. And it was coming from beneath the earth. The real enemy had not yet revealed itself. But it would. Soon.